Can you guys introduce yourselves and tell us how you got into the business?
Okay.
You can start.
My name is Cruz. I started 2 years ago in San Francisco, where I was living for about a year and going to college. I contacted this amateur producer who shot me, came up with my stage name even, and I eventually made my way to the AVN Awards in convention in Las Vegas in 2004 of last year. Or no, I take that back. 2004 of last year, and then made my way to Los Angeles in March of last year and met this guy in June, and then got married in January.
In January.
Of 2005.
And I'm Jack Lawrence, and I've been in the industry almost 3 years. And I was an escort for a couple of years, and one of my escort clients was a ex-porn star, and she talked me into getting into the industry, and it's been a lot of fun. Been almost 300 movies since, and loving every minute of it, except especially, this one here.
It was love at first fuck.
It was love at first fuck because we
met on a set.
And then we kept fucking. We went back to her hotel and fucked all night and just started out as friends.
We started off as fuck buddies, and then it became more afterwards. It was kind of like friendship first type of thing, and then
friends who fuck, and then we became really good friends.
And then
we still fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
And then decided for a while we were only fucking each other off camera and.
We were monogamous. We were monogamous off camera, work is work, whatever. There's a difference between love and sex. And then it became
more of an open relationship.
Open marriage, rather.
Yeah,
and, we like to share.
Bottom line is I don't want her resenting being monogamous 5 years from now. So I told some guys, come over and fuck my wife when I go to the gym. And then she brings me pussy sometimes.
And I bring the pussy home, and,
It's a good way.
We have a very happy open marriage.
Main thing is if you could eliminate jealousy from a relationship you haven't made, because my only disappointment with us being in an open relationship is if some guy comes over and doesn't fuck her good, and then I just kick him to the curb. And they never get invited back again. But if you don't have to worry about jealousy, then
and that's
relationship is awesome.
And that's something that we don't have. We don't have any jealousy issues, and I know. Well, a lot of people know that there's a lot of porn couples out there that do have those type of issues, and they can't really distinguish the difference between love and sex, and therefore they have problems with dealing, with the other person doing porn as well. But with me and Jack, I go to the sets with him, and I like to watch.
Yeah, sometimes she starts masturbating.
Sometimes I'll be masturbating in the background.
She's jumped into the scene for free.
And sometimes I fluffed the girl up.
And I've jumped into it. She did the girl scene. It was just... near the end, I just left a scene, and they said, Jack, you want to jump in there?
He's done that a couple times. Not just once. He did that a couple times.
Don't tell anybody that I work for free.
But it was still good. And we have that very loving, everyone knows that we love each other, and it's going to stay that way no matter what.
It's sickening how much we love each other. But.
Let me ask you this. How does your love differ from, the ordinary couple out there in society that's married? They got married in a church that have a normal relationship outside the porn industry.
We're definitely cheesier than a chick flick.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're also nastier.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Well, I'm very, very vanilla, and she's very, very chocolate. And
I'm very extreme.
And we meet somewhere in the middle. So she's, maybe a little bit more aggressive of a lover, and
he's more of a lover, and I'm more of a fucker.
Yeah, she's like, forget the roses, just give me the thorns.
Yeah, forget the roses, just give me the thorns.
And I'm more of a roses guy, so kind of the common ground is we have a stem. It's pretty boring. No, it's great.
But speaking of marriages, when we did get married, we actually did get married by a pastor, not a priest, but a
real minister.
A minister. He was a real minister, but the whole thing is we got married at a porn convention, which was the actual Adult Entertainment Expo in Las Vegas in January of 2005.
Yeah.
And
tomorrow is our 9-month anniversary.
Tomorrow is our 9-month anniversary, wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on a year almost.
But basically, the main thing is a lot of people might scoff at the fact that we got married at a porn convention, but the reality is we know that for the next 5 to 10 years we're going to be in the porn industry, and we want everybody possible in the industry to know that we're really married, not just hear a rumor, but to have actually seen it.
People have placed bets.
People placed bets. They thought we'd never go over 4 months.
Some people didn't think we would go past 2 weeks, and here we are 9 months later. And here we are 9 months later, and people are like, wow, they really did make it. And they see that we do love each other, because a lot of people think that based on the stereotype of porn couples, or, whether or not you're married or just in a relationship with another person in the porn industry, they see us and they realize, wow, those two really do love each other. And I like that, because I know I love him and he loves me.
I'm old already. I just want her to grow old with me. I got this one for keeps.
Mm-hmm.
What's your guys' ages, if you don't mind saying on camera?
I'm ancient. I'm 38, but every day I feel like I'm 17.
I'm 20. I'll be 20. I'll be 21 in a month.
I've never even dated anybody younger than me in my entire life, and we were just purely fuck buddies. And she's an extremely dynamic, intelligent woman, and self-motivated, and we're business partners and lovers and husband and wife and everything all in one. And
Everything
I couldn't
all
be
in one.
happier. So
how many people can say that about their significant other, right?
Yeah.
And it's we've been together obviously longer than 9 months. So you'd think that by now we'd be sick of each other. Like, I can't handle being a business partner with you and
well,
this and that. But
the other thing is, besides when we go out of town for shoots, she just got back from San Francisco from a 5-day feature shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, we're together like 23 hours a day. We're very, very rarely
we're like
apart.
glued at the hip.
And we never ever get sick of each other. It's ridiculous.
Which is odd for both of us, because when we had first met each other, we couldn't stand being around the same person for, a week. Yeah. So it kind of like became one of those things like, oh no, I'm not falling for him, and oh no, I'm falling for her. I can't be. And then we ended up falling for each other. So we couldn't help it. But here we are now, and it seems to be that we're made for each other, I think.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right. Let me set the camera right here. What is your guys' opinion of society when society looks down on the porn industry? Like, how do you guys look at society in the way they judge people such as you that are porn stars?
Well, it's very disappointing, but knowledge overcomes fear, and knowledge overcomes adversity to things you don't know. I really like the fact that you're doing this documentary, because I want people to know that we are regular people.
Yeah.
Just because we have sex for a living doesn't mean that we're heathenistic or anything. It's
Doesn't
something we can separate love from sex, and most people can't. And I could see how most people would have a problem with that. But if you can separate it, it's just we're just having sex.
And believe it or not, there are people in the porn, well, not us, but there are people in the porn industry that do go to church.
Yeah.
We are normal people. It's not like we're atheists who, like, were molested by our fathers when we were 5. It's not, that's the one thing that I can't stand, is that people, the people every now and then will come to me and say, oh, were you abused when you were younger? Or, how many STDs do you have? And stuff like that. And it's really disappointing, because it's like, wow, you're going to stereotype me based on what you think just because I fuck for a living. What they don't realize is that we do.
Yeah, we're required to be tested every 30 days,
yeah.
And we're one of the cleanest demographic groups ever recorded. Our incidence of STDs is just like nothing. 1,200 performers, they get just a handful of cases every month. So
talk to me about that.
Clean.
Like, how are you guys cleaner than any other demographic?
Well, we go
society?
to a place called AIM, Adult Industry Medical, which is a nonprofit organization started by Dr. Sharon Mitchell, who's basically the only authority in, when we go to the set, we have to present a test less than 30 days old. Some companies, and I applaud them and I welcome all of them to do the same, want a test that's less than 2 weeks old. And maybe someday we'll test every week. That way you can't eliminate diseases, but you can definitely contain them and keep it from becoming an outbreak. And I think it's a good example for civilians. Most people wait till they have a symptom, and half the STDs out there don't have symptoms. So getting tested is the key.
But the difference between our testing, because there's a lot of people out there that aren't in our industry that say, well, I get tested all the time at my free clinic and this and that. What they don't realize is that the difference between our clinic and their clinic is that we get tested, PCR
DNA testing, which is polychain reaction DNA for HIV, and it has basically an 8-day window.
As opposed to 6 months with the ELISA testing. And so that's what makes us, I guess, safer.
Much
because,
safer, yeah.
I mean, if you look at what's happened in the past with other cases, anywhere else you wouldn't have known till way later.
But basically, if you're in a monogamous relationship, we're not saying what to do, but people who date definitely should be wearing condoms. Porn 90% of porn is without condoms, and we definitely don't want to promote that because porn is just a fantasy world, and we do accept a risk. And it's a small risk, but we do accept it. But we're professionals, and we treat each other with respect, and nobody goes out there trying to catch anything.
But as far
it's sad that there isn't a safe sex message in porn.
Exactly.
Because it is fantasy.
But as far as like the safety of us, to compare ourselves with the demographics, we feel more comfortable fucking a tested, porn performer that's tested through AIM without a condom, as opposed to as opposed to fucking someone with a condom that isn't in our industry. So that's how much.
In fact, if we meet people outside the industry we want to play with, we go ahead and send them over to AIM and get them tested.
And some
we
people
still
have.
We still wear a condom with them because
we
don't know what they do after they get their test.
Exactly. So
the test is only as good as the day you take it.
It's still a relief when people do get tested at AIM that aren't in our industry, and they come over to play with us, and we still use condoms.
One of them put it up on their wall. They framed it and put it up on their test.
We're like, look at, we got tested just for you guys, and it was kind of like.
It's like, hey, caring about each other's health is the first step.
We care about our health, and we don't want to put other performers at risk, and that's how much we care about that.
Basically, everybody would know. If you got something in the industry, people would know who gave it to you and would go after them, and people are really safe. Because there would be finger pointing if not. Nobody wants any fingers pointed at them.
But bottom line, that's the one thing that bothers me about, that's like the biggest stereotype that I've been getting, or, I'm sure everybody gets that are in this business, but that's the one thing I can't stand, because people don't understand, that we are required to get tested, and that's that.
Let me ask you guys this. Just get the camera frozen.
Yeah.
I get tired so much holding this camera is more than it thinks.
Yeah.
We got a fucking camera right over our heads. I always like to see footage of the helicopter jets because they pop up the interviews all the time.
Yeah.
The audio.
Cue the jet.
And
cue the Harley Davidson.
Like, alright. You guys are married. How does being married to each other affect, like, being in the porn industry? You both are having sex with different people, where outside of the porn industry, that would be looked at as like the wrong thing to do. How does it affect you guys?
Well, we just fuck everybody.
I mean,
When people are on the set, it sometimes, if I'm working with a girl and her husband's there, I don't have a problem with it. Some performers are like, I don't want the husband on the set. I don't even care if the guy watches, because I'm comfortable with myself as a performer, and I know that they're not going to have a problem with the way I fuck their wife. At least I hope they don't, because I'm vanilla. But some guys really get freaked out, and I don't think they can handle watching it.
I don't think I've had any issues with people, working with married people in the business.
A lot of respect, actually. Sometimes the girls are a little relieved, because the first thing I do when I get on the set and start bragging about Annie, I kind of work it into the conversation. So I think the girls that I work with are kind of relieved that, hey, I could have fun with this guy, and we could have chemistry on the camera, and I don't have to worry about him coming and stalking me. So I think there's a lot of relief on the woman before they work with me, because they know that I'm not going to be knocking on their door the next day. Just because we had fun on camera doesn't mean that they're going to have to date me. So I like that aspect. Plus, it's always good to brag about my wife.
Were both your families at your marriage?
No, actually, neither one. We kept it kind of an industry wedding.
They knew that we were going to get married at the porn convention, but they preferred it to be that way, and they said, you go have your fun wedding, and when we come back home, we'll have our own family after we're, kind of like, not really a reception, but more of like just getting together with family, not so much of a big party.
Yeah, I've been married 2 times before, and just because you have 250 people at a church doesn't make the wedding more legitimate than if you're married at a porn convention with 30,000 people watching. But it was fun. We walked around the convention in our tux and the bride's gown, and it was just a lot of fun. Main thing is, marriage license is just a piece of paper. A marriage is represented by how you feel about each other. We come home in love, and that's all that counts.
Let me ask you guys, it's totally on like the flip side.
You need a DV Rig Pro.
Holding this camera, I'm used to holding the camera like this.
We have a DV rig. It's like $600.
Oh.
It's a belt and then a shock absorber rod,
I
and then a thing
had
over the shoulder,
Yeah.
and then 2 arm things. And you could put a remote switch, and if you need to write down something, you can take your hands away and it stays.
I wish I had that. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
that would be
It's called a
sweet.
DV Rig Pro. They're $600.
This is like my 8th drink of the night right here.
Uh-huh.
And you have no idea how badly I wish I had this on me right now. Let me tell you. Alright. So, okay. Let's say, this is always the question I like asking people is, like, and I always get different answers from different people, so if you don't have a good story to tell, it's understandable. Some people have good stories to tell, some don't. But what is, like, the wildest scene or craziest experience you've had on a porn set? Like an accidental porn experience.
Oh, man.
I've heard stories of like a girl getting like a dildo shoved up her ass that shouldn't have been up her ass, and she had to get rushed to an emergency room. Stuff like that.
Oh, I have worse story than
I
that.
had 2 cocks in my ass once where I made it that way.
It wasn't even booked as a double
It was
anal, but
supposed
she
to-
just got too horny and.
I was getting DP'd, and then I just took the guy's cock, and I already had one cock in my ass, and I took took the other guy's cock and shoved it in my ass, and
She
I
gets
said, I want you
flustered when
guys
she talks about
to
it 'cause she
double
liked it so
stuff
much.
my asshole, and I just, it was pretty
You're
wild. But
supposed
I don't
to get
know.
paid more for
I don't
that,
know
but
if
she
that's,
did it for free.
I don't know if that's the wildest
It's pretty
thing
wild.
I mean, as far as things that weren't planned, because I've done wild stuff that, like, okay, this is what I'm doing, but as far as, like, surprise, the director was really happy.
Like, have you ever experienced constipation after you put 2 dicks up your ass?
No.
So like that, like literally, like was like a medicine of a sort, I guess you could say.
I guess.
You've never been.
I've never had
constipated
problems.
since
I've never had problems with anal because I've always liked anal since the day I first had it. And I've done all that before I even got into porn.
Here's a story that will get edited out for sure, but I'll say it anyway.
It won't be edited.
Okay. This is the worst.
Oh, God.
Anal scenes run the risk of being a little bit messy. And, I've done hundreds of anal scenes, and, 1 out of 40, 1 out of 50 is a tiny bit of mess. And it's no big deal. You just clean up a little bit. Well, one girl decided to do 3.5 enemas before the scene. And
Oh, God.
let's just say that, halfway through the anal positions, it all came out all at once. And my responsibility was to keep the white carpet white, and I basically was in a pool of it. The entire crew just fled. She fled, and I was just sitting in that for a good 5 minutes before somebody came and remembered that I was there, because I couldn't get up, because otherwise the carpet would have been trashed. So yeah, we earn every penny sometimes. But that's the grossest, worst experience I've had. Knock on wood, I've had great luck with that. Except for that one time.
I've never had that kind of experience.
Let's see if you could put that in the documentary, huh?
Trust me, I can. Let me ask you this, like a lot of girls are very subconscious about trying anal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what about anal is comfortable for you that other girls that haven't tried it yet, just a typical 18, 19, 20-year-old girl that hasn't done anal yet, like, what would you tell them to convince them to try it?
I would say get a dildo that's not that big and work it up there slowly and just kind of, Sorry, I got distracted. One more time. Okay.
Your typical 18, 19, 20-year-old girl, to tell them, like, anal is a comfortable and enjoyable experience.
Well, I would tell them about my experiences and how good it felt, because the one thing that a girl needs to know, or hear rather, is how good it feels and how much fun it can be, as opposed to the painful thought of, like, okay, that going up my ass, no, I can't handle that. Because a lot of girls feel that way. I've talked to a lot of girls that have felt that way, and I've always had to tell them it's all in your head.
Yeah.
And, there is a G-spot up there. It's a little bit different than your pussy, and let me tell you, once you hit that spot,
She
it's
comes
great.
harder from anal orgasms than vaginal orgasms.
Exactly.
If she had her choice most nights, I'm going to end up fucking her ass.
Exactly.
That's what she loves.
But when I talk to a girl and explain to her all of that, she wants to know, well, how do I work up to it before I actually try it?
Toys.
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 You know, fingers don't really feel so comfortable, but I always tell a girl, try one finger just to kind of, you know, feel up there a little bit, and then start with a small toy and then work your way up to a big toy, and then once you get the feel of that, you're ready for a cock like that. Although that's not how I got my start. I went straight to the cock when I started. That was back in my freshman year of college.
But the main thing is, though, when they do step up to a real man, the most important thing is to make sure it's somebody that you trust, that there is any pain, that this is the type of guy that's going to stop and not get super excited and just keep on going, because it can hurt and you have to know when to back off. But it's 90% mental. Once you're relaxed and you anticipate it being good, then it's all good. That's why she does it all the time. She's like the anal queen.
That's right.
Or one of them.
Well, let me ask you this, the last question here, and then if we could meet up like this weekend or tomorrow.
Oh yeah, because I'm free this week. Yeah.
Or we could do more of an interview with tripod set at a nice location. Like, what is your preference over doing anal than it is over doing vaginal? Like, what's in your opinion? Yeah.
My preference in doing anal over vaginal is it's just kinkier, and to me, especially before porn, it's always been usually new to the girl, and it's a trust thing. It's like a second virginity, and for them to trust you, especially my size, going up there means that they trust you, and that's something that I don't like to violate. And it feels good to take something that somebody's afraid of and turn it into something that they really love, and that's a nice paradox.
What do you mean by your size?
I'm big.
Like how big?
I'm not huge. I'm 8.5. I'm like
9.
Yeah, and 6.5 inch girth. So it's.
Does he damage you or what?
No.
She loves it.
I love it.
She loves it. She wishes I was bigger.
Size matters, baby. Oh yeah. I learned that when I got into porn.
But it's not the size of the ship. It's the motion of the ocean and how long you're out to sea. But you never did see them doing those commercials for those funline cruises from the back of a rowboat. So size does matter.
Size does matter.
What's better to you, length or width?
I'd have to say a little bit of both. I'm a small girl. Now here's the thing with me. I'm a tiny girl. I can take huge things. Well, obviously, I've taken 2 cocks up my ass. I can take huge cocks in my ass. Big dildos, whatever. I can fist my ass. I can, it's all a mental thing, and it feels great. It feels good. My ass just expands like.
But you didn't start out that way. You had to work your way up.
No, I did, but I can't take big stuff in my pussy for whatever reason. I'm a tiny girl, and I'm really tight down there, and I get torn easily depending on how big a guy is. So I can't really. I can take length in my pussy because it hits that spot, and I can squirt whatever. But I guess you could say I can take length in my pussy and both length and girth in my ass.
She likes girth.
Oh, yeah.
And in case you're wondering, 6.5 inches is the length of a dollar bill. So if you wrap a dollar bill around, if the ends don't touch, then you're girthy. And if the ends overlap each other, then you're still pretty thick. But
not
as
thick
as me. But in the porn industry, I'm just another guy. I'm nothing special, but in the civilian world, I guess I'm pretty good.
Can I get a clip of you 2 guys just kissing really quick?
Yeah, of course.
Like a for the camera kiss or just like a candid?
Like an on-camera kiss, like some romantic, just to play with the people, the viewers.
So you want me to kiss her?
Yeah.
Is this going to be like that kiss? And people said we weren't in love. One love. No, just kidding. We haven't fucked in a long time. We might just fuck right now.
Mwah.
You have a place we could fuck?
You could probably pull up like right here in the grass. I don't think nobody's looking right here.
Let's do it.
But I would need another form of release form, so videotape that.
That's okay. We can do that after. Want to see our boobies?